Is there anything worse than family drama? Well, in Judges, we find some family drama. And it's, well, pretty dramatic. You see, for a while, Israel had been subjected again to their enemies, and God called Gideon to deliver them from that. Now, Gideon had a lot of sons, and one of them was Abimelech. He was the son of a concubine. Now, Abimelech got the bright idea to try and make himself king over all of Israel, so he went and found all his brothers, around 70 of them, and murdered nearly all of them. Only the youngest one, Jotham, survived. And when Jotham had heard about it, he spoke a parable. And this parable was that a bunch of trees went to go ask another tree to reign over them. They went and asked this tree, they went and asked that one, they even asked a grapevine. And all of them said no, and they finally went to ask a bramble or a thorn bush. Now this thorn bush gave a very interesting answer. If in truth you anoint me king over you, then come and put your trust in my shadow. And if not, let fire come out of the bramble and devour the cedars of Lebanon. Now Jotham explains what he means by this parable. If you then have dealt truly and sincerely with Jerubbaal, that is another name for Gideon, and with his house this day, then rejoice in Abimelech, and let him also rejoice in you. In other words, if you have done this honestly, if you have done this sincerely, if you have obeyed the commandments of God in doing this, great. Rejoice in him, let him rejoice in you. But if not, let fire come out of Abimelech and devour the men of Shechem in the house of Milo, and let fire come out from the men of Shechem and from the house of Milo and devour Abimelech. Now Jotham knew they did not do this honestly. Now it was interesting what happened to Abimelech. It was the citizens of Shechem that was his downfall. He went to Shechem, he found them all hiding in a tower, he rushed to attack, and a woman dropped a millstone, that's a large stone, on his head. And then he commanded his servant to kill him so that he could say, "A woman did not kill me." And then this chapter ends with the Bible saying that God basically returned the wickedness to Abimelech back upon his own head, as well as to the men of Shechem. So what are we talking about here? What does it mean? Here we see the story of what pride and arrogance will do to a person and a nation. And we see what trusting in the word of man versus the word of God will do. In a magazine from the Signs of the Times, 1881, we read this: "He who does not earnestly seek the divine guidance, that is God, will be deceived by their smooth words and their artful plans." If the people of Israel had been constantly studying the word of God that they had access to, if they had been truly seeking God and loving God with all their hearts as commanded in Deuteronomy 6 verse 5 and Leviticus 19:18, they would not have been deceived or fallen for the trap that Abimelech set for them. And this is a situation that God's people find themselves in these last days. You see, not only has this country become overly, extremely polarized in politics, but so has the vast majority of Christianity. I mean, one could almost more accurately call the evangelical world a political party instead of a religion. And like the people of Israel in accepting Abimelech as their king, Christians in this country are asking thorn bushes to reign over them. They're going for unbiblical methods to fix the ailments that ail this country and the world. When if we would seek God and love God with all of our hearts, none of these issues that plague society would have ever been an issue to begin with. We need to seek God, not the thorn bushes. God said through the prophet Jeremiah in Jeremiah 17:5, "Cursed be the man that trusteth in man and makes flesh his arm, and whose heart departs from the Lord." And then it says, "Blessed is the man that trusts in the Lord and whose hope the Lord is." Seek God, love God, obey God. Don't seek worldly solutions, they will not work.